Peace and blessings. My name is Frontier Gardner, and welcome to another episode of a News You Use podcast promoting Black business owners and artists because we're doing impactful work in our communities, but the mainstream media is not talking about us, and we're here to highlight our creativities and storytelling. So we have an awesome business spotlight on the line today. We're gonna get right to it. My good friend Raej, I've known her for quite a while now. I can't like specifically say when we met, but we met in St. Louis some time ago in my acting days. In my acting days, yes. And so we've been connected ever since. I done sold insurance. I done everything. This woman has been on the radio. She done had me on her show at least 2 or 3 times. So that's how far we go back. So grateful. So we reconnected. Let me tell y'all a little story. We reconnected because I'm like, this year I'm elevating the business, growing, leveling up, getting my marketing strategy together, just all the things that needs to be done as a business owner. And I've been soliciting for people to give me their emails and their date of birth and their names and all the things so I can create my and build my new email list. I got old list, but I get too many like hits on them. So anyway, we started anew. And so Ray J reached out to me and she was like, yeah, let me pull you to the side. I need to talk to you. And she did, and she, put me on game and just let me know like what I needed to do more effectively to be more effective. And I'm just so grateful for her. And so I was just had to have her on the podcast so she can share some of her wealth of knowledge. And so welcome, Ray J.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is so good. First of all, it's so good to reconnect with you. So good to see you finally.
I know,
Uh,
right?
we've been back and forth in Messenger, and you did such a beautiful job with a conversation that we had about your email list in a short little video. And I was like, oh, look at her. So it was so good to see you again. And I was like looking so forward to being able to be on your podcast. So thank you very much. This is my second podcast that I've been on so far. So I'm ending 2024 with a bang.
Come on through. Way to go, Ray J. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So I'm gonna read Ray J's bio. Renee A. Ray J. Johnson, affiliate marketer, author, radio, TV personality, producer, director, founder, and CEO of T.O.K.O.V.L Radio, Roku channel owner, developer for Launch and the Flow Networks, author, celebrity interviewer, red carpet correspondent, brand ambassador for Africans from Royal Origins. Afro is the acronym. Clothing line. Former university educator with master's degree in behavior studies, community counseling, Bachelor of Arts in psychology, minoring in science, community advocate for domestic violence survivors and the unhoused, and lastly, served in the United States Air Force as a veteran. So thank you so much for your service and all that you've done for the community, Raja. So that's your bio. But my first question I love to ask our business spotlights is, tell us about who you are historically. Give us some historical background on who you are, where you from, and where you at.
Oh, okay. So I'm a native New Yorker. A lot of people do not know that, but
I
I'm from,
didn't.
see, I'm from Staten Island, New York. We relocated to Jersey City, New Jersey, where my parents had a mom and pop kind of store. Back in the day, because I'm a child of the 60s. So back in the day, the stores that used to have the great big old fashioned jukebox where you put the money in and see the record flip. We
Yes.
had one of those. We had a shoe shine stand in the store, and I used to be in the back of the store on a little cot. I remember this when I was like 3 and 4 years old. So I was around my parents as entrepreneurs. I've never known anything but entrepreneurship. So I grew up in that, and look, was a private dancer at the age of 3. Let me tell you what I mean. I would have the police officers, some of the businessmen in the area that came to our little store because we had little snacks, goods, sodas, things like that. They come get their shoe shine, maybe take a break for lunch, listen to a record, and they wanted someone to dance with them. And so they would call me and say, "Hey, Renee, come on and dance with me." I would get a quarter to dance with them. Now, the quarter actually went in the jukebox, but to me, I was getting paid to dance. Where I
So
realized I was
cute.
a private dancer is when Tina Turner came out with the song Private Dancer, Dancer for Money. I said, wait a minute, I was a private. So that's just a little spin I kind of like to put on.
That's cute.
But just to say that I've always been and always had in me entrepreneurship. So I've done things. My parents moved to St. Louis, Missouri when I was 5. Grew up in Catholic school education. Um, Came through a lot of stuff. At the age of 6 weeks, my mom and I were driving my dad to work. We were in New York at the time, and there was another man heading towards us after we had dropped my dad off and fell asleep at the wheel of the car coming off of his third job. My mother said in that moment she had to make a decision to either hit him head on or for him to hit us and knock us over into the Hudson River.
Oh
She knew
wow.
that we ended up in the river because it was really just a sidewalk and guardrail and then the Hudson River, that we would be dead for sure. So she chose to drive into him, which is what woke him up for him to stop. Back then, safety wasn't like it is now with car seats. I was sitting in the front passenger facing the windshield. So when the force of the car hit, my seat belt snapped off of the
Hmm.
car seat and I hit the windshield with
Oh
my
wow.
head at the age of 6 weeks. I had a fractured skull and possible brain damage.
Mm.
I remember waking up at 6 weeks in the hospital with my entire head covered in a bandage, and it was on this side. I
Hmm.
told my mother, she had no idea I remembered that at 6 weeks. So she knew that God had his hand on me and that I was made for a bigger purpose. There have been
Yes.
so many things that I literally should have been taken out of here. Several car accidents. Spinal cord turned into a question mark because I was hit so hard in a car accident. Cancer, stage 3, didn't even know I had it. Diabetes went so out of control from cancer treatments that I should have died because my blood sugar went over 1,000. And I was still running businesses, still talking to my Avon reps on the phone, still functioning, making sure my kids was where they needed to be, telling their father what he needed to do, who at the time was my husband. And he decided, this is too much, she too much. I'm going to go do something different with somebody different, and abandoned me in my illness. So I ended up
Oh
home,
wow.
and I was homeless in St. Louis. But I say I was bougie homeless. And what I mean by that is that I had shelter. A lot of our homeless veterans and homeless academics, people that are in academics, academia, a lot of our educators that are on the street homeless, they're on the street, literally on the street. I had someone who came and took care of me and my children to make sure that we weren't on the street. And it weren't church members. It was my
Hmm.
good friend, Dallas Jameson.
Mm.
So we have been friends since 1987. I was his counselor, and I was at Harris Stowe. And a friend of ours, mutual friend, brought him to me, and I introduced him to Bernie Hayes to get him started in his radio career. I was an academic advisor. So
Wow.
that was my job, to help guide and navigate my students into their career.
Yes.
Back in 2011, so we went from 1987 to 2011. We've been friends all that time. He came back for me and said, I want you to be my co host at the radio station WGNU. And I
Yes.
never
That's
thought about that. I was doing public speaking, I was doing a lot of stuff in higher education. Never did it occur to me to be on radio. So pretty much the rest is history. We ended up in radio. We were on WGNU, an AM station in St. Louis. We ended up at Ferguson Hot Talk Radio. Then it was Ferguson Hot Talk USA Radio. And it was an internet station. The first time I was introduced to internet was in 2012, before it became sexy, before it became the celebrity thing to do. Um, LA Talk Radio, however, was on the air, and I found out about them. And the only celebrity that I knew at that time on air was the young lady that played Cindy Brady. And she was on the air with another girl, and it was called Two Chicks Talking Politics on LA Talk Radio. And that was back in 2011. After our contract ended at WGNU, I wanted to continue to do and produce, and that's where I got excited, was in production. So then came along, as you said from my bio, we ended up on television. I had a show on ABC called this Around Town with Dallas and Raej. Our
I was
radio
on there.
that was on air in St. Louis. We came on right after Entertainment Tonight, so we had a viewing audience of about 3,000 plus viewers. We were asked to come and be a part of the Mix 99.5 family FM radio. I was asked to host a red carpet for a movie producer from Hollywood who had roots in Belleville, Illinois, which isn't too far from St. Louis, Missouri. And I started hosting the red carpet for him for his movie premieres, which I got Dallas in as a voice talent. So it's just so much things that just kept coming. And when individuals like you, especially in our community, our young African Americans who were fighting to just be seen or just be heard or just get a little notoriety, we felt that as media professionals that we have become, we wanted to give you that voice and we wanted to give you that opportunity. So we let you come and talk about your project so that people could hear what was going on within their own community and benefit, win-win. Win-win for you because you got to serve, win-win for them because they got to be served, and win-win for us because we got to tell the story. Um, so it was a lot that went into that, and I got noticed in Virginia and Ohio, and we started doing our radio show as a podcast. So we started doing podcasts and chopping up our radio show and sending it to a lady we affectionately call Miss B. And she was the manager over Storm Talk 365. So that was our first podcast host. And Dallas and I have just kept going strong. Pandemic hit, and that shut everybody down. However, I had already started an internet radio station, T.O.K.O.V.L radio. It was the original Kings Over Valuable Land, and that's what those letters stand for. And we had been on air. We were used to the internet. So we kept businesses in business by continuing to put them on the air and promote as heavily as we could in Facebook, on social media, so that people, artists, singers, business, political people, religious people, things that was happening, Black Lives Matter situations going on. We started our internet radio literally in 2009, right behind the Mike Brown uprising, and we were in the heart of it in Ferguson, Missouri. So we have always been in the community doing things, and ended up on Bernie Hayes's television show and bringing people. It really wasn't about us, it was always about everyone else, and spotlighted Sister Strut, and spotlighted all of the people that were doing things in the community to help cancer survivors, to bring awareness to cancer, to bring awareness to homelessness, to bring awareness to veterans suffering, and acknowledge and honor those veterans. So, yeah, it's just part of what I've grown into, having the background that I have in counseling and in psychology. I put it to use beyond the hollow halls.
You're absolutely amazing, Ray J. For reals. Like I love that story you just told, man. It's just really just inspires me. Like just cause storytelling has been a part of just your story just from the jump and entrepreneurship. And so which leads me to say now tell us about your business and your brand and what you have upcoming.
So what I have birthed over time. So let me say, being diagnosed, losing my parents. My dad died at the age of 43 when I was 11 years old at the VA hospital called John Cochran Hospital on North Grand in St. Louis, Missouri. My mother was working as a ward secretary at that hospital. So to have roots as a veteran, and he was an Air Force veteran. My grandfather, my great grandfather, I came from a line of airmen, and I didn't even know it when at the age of 17 I enlisted to be a military person in the United States Air Force. And I enlisted for 6 years. So I had planned on making it one of my career goals and use that opportunity to go to school so that the military could pay for it so I could take care of my family, especially when my dad had died and I had a brother and a mom to think of. That's where I was coming from as the oldest. And I ended up not being able to stay. I got an honorable discharge because I got hurt. Been battling the VA, trying to get some benefits. That hasn't
Get
worked
them
thus far.
benefits, y'all.
That hasn't worked thus far, but y'all keep me in prayer for that. But then I was the type of person that never stopped. So when I hospiced my grandmother who had cancer, my mother who had breast cancer, I hospiced them to heaven. I took care of them. They didn't go to a home. They didn't die in a hospital. They died at home with me. And I made their surroundings beautiful because that is what family do. That is how you step up and step in. You don't worry about who's not doing what. You do, right? That's where I
Yes.
come from. And so when at the same age, 48, I was diagnosed like my mother with breast cancer. I didn't even know I had stage 3 breast cancer. I didn't even know. I didn't even ask right away. And when I asked my doctor, I said, wait a minute. As a matter of fact, what stage am I at? He said, you know what? We weren't going to tell you if you didn't ask because you have such an upbeat, bubbly, happy. energetic spirit, we didn't want to tell you because we didn't want to kill that spirit because we believe that that is what is helping you to heal.
Powerful.
That was powerful from a doctor in the traditional medicine world to say that to me. And I said, I'm this person. When I find out what the problem is, I'm ready to find out what the solution is. Let's go. Let's get started. Let's go. So I've always kept my mind going. If the body wasn't working, I kept trying to make sure the mind was doing something to help somebody because it helped me too. So, what I'm doing now, I've decided to take all of that and develop a coaching program. I'm an accountability coach, a life matchmaker. I help you to get to where it is that you deserve to be in your life. I'm going to be 61, as I say, triple 20 plus one come January. And
Hey.
all that I've been through, I know God has blessed me. I don't look like everything that I have been through. But it's not just the outer appearance, it's what's on the inside. See, a lot of people think that the outer world controls your inner world. No, it's the other way around. Your inner world controls your outer world. So, what's in here is what you see reflected out there. It's a mindset change. So, that's why I decided I wanted to be an accountability coach, having people to be held to a standard that I know that they could reach. Nothing that they didn't desire, that shouldn't even exist. There are so many things that so many people could be doing with their lives. And just because you hit a certain milestone age-wise does not mean it's over. It doesn't mean that at all. It is what you make it. And that is what's on here. I used to tell my clients, I worked in social services as well. I've been in the gang territories. I've lost students to gun violence. I have had parents on drugs. I have been in the high schools. I have been in the high schools nobody wanted to go to. And all of those students became my students. They became my prodigy, not my project. See, words mean a lot of things. They used to want to call these students at risk. I call them college bound. So, see, the way
Come on.
that you tell things to people, words have power, they have energy.
Yes.
So, as I got more engrossed in what I wanted to know and bring my skills up, because you never stop learning, it's never too late to learn. Too late is when you're in the grave. As long as you're on this side of the side, you can continue to learn, grow, prosper, and give. And I decided that I wanted to take my counseling skills, become an accountability coach, life matchmaker. What does that mean? That means I'm going to match you up to the life that you desire and deserve. And I use 4 pillars: wealth, health, personal development, and relationship. Because you need all of that to holistically become the person that you deserve and desire to be, and to have the life that you deserve and desire to have. So, this is where you live. I used to always tell my clients that this is where you live. I don't care what the physical residence looks like, but how many people allow people to rent space in their head? How many stragglers do you have? How many people are living up in here that you should have evicted a long time ago? And that is why I want to help people, not judge them, but help to hold them to the standard that they know that they should be holding themselves to, not being held back. Feeling good is a strategy. I know you asked me for a nugget, and Stormy Wellington is someone that said that feeling good is a strategy. And I evaluated that and I said, you know what? She's absolutely right. It is a strategy. You have to want to plan to feel good, and you can do it in the moment. Everything that happens to you, you can decide, Frenchie, in that moment, how am I going to react to that? Am I going to be mad about it? Am I going to be sad about it? Am I going to
That's
be
right.
happy about it? Am I going to be whatever? You in that
Yes.
moment, you have the power right then and there to decide how you want to be in that moment. And then
Hmm.
your life will follow. So free your mind, as as the diva said, right?
And
In
the
both
rest will
things, free
follow.
your
Yes,
mind, and the
ma'am.
rest will follow. And it is so true. But you have to have those steps. You have to know how to do that. And in order to know how to do that, you have to be held accountable. So that's what I'm doing, developing a coaching program. And as a result of all the things that I have done and being as transparent as I can be, just a regular person, right? Approachable, somebody that people can trust to tell things to, that's not judged, right? I was able to be asked to be a speaker February of 2025 in a women's summit that is going to talk about audacious abundance. And people put a bad word on prosperity, right? When you hear prosperity, you think about, those prosperity preachers in the church, they just want your money. It's not about that. Prosperity means that you have riches. That's what it means. To prosper is to have an abundance. You can't give what you don't have. Everybody wants your dollar, but nobody wants to help you make a dollar. So how can I help you if you're not going to help me help you? You know what I'm saying? So to be audacious in being abundant means to have the tenacity to go through what you have to go through, to be what you want to be. Not for you. It's about a servant leader mindset. So I'm so proud and so honored that I have been asked to be one of the speakers for this Women's Summit in February 2025. And as soon, I mean, literally 48 hours ago, I was invited. So as soon as I get the information,
Nice.
I would be more than happy to share that with you so that people that want to come and participate and hear, not only from me, but from others that they may resonate with, I will be so happy to give that information to you for your audience.
I love that. Once you get it, I definitely will shoot that out to the peoples for
Yes.
sure. So proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, who would you say your target audience is? Who are you looking to help?
I think it's women in general. I would say that it's probably women anywhere between the age of, let's say, 40 and up.
40 and up. Okay, that sounds good. And how do we reach out to you to tap into your services?
So I am right now, as I am rebuilding, because I've got a lot of stuff that I'm rebuilding. I will have, right now you can reach me on social media. So on Facebook, you can reach me at Ray J Johnson, and it's spelled capital R, lowercase AEJ. So even the J is lowercase, but my J, the way I spell it, is capital Johnson. On Instagram, I'm at the number one Ray Johnson. So Facebook is probably the best place to reach me, and DM me, let me know that you heard me on this podcast and of French Airs, and we can have a conversation from there and see how I can service you.
I love that. I love that. And is it too soon to announce the upcoming podcast, or what? Are we talking
No, you
about
can
it? Or
we can go ahead and announce
hey, hey, Raej has a new podcast coming out, so tell us all about it, the name of it, and how we'll, in the soon be able to tap into it.
it. Okay, so as I have come through these years, as I have, I said, there's a lot of us that were born in the 60s that have a lot of information to share, have a lot of things that we've gone through. And if we could impart that wisdom as we usually do, it's an ancestral thing with us as a culture to tell the stories, to tell the story and continuously pass it on generation after generation. I developed a podcast called Wizdom with a Z, as in wizard, Wisdom to Win. And that podcast will launch January 30th, 2025. So that I
Yay.
will be on all of the various platforms and get that information to you as well.
Sweet. Yeah, we're geeked about that. We're geeked about it. And we're gonna be guests.
Yes,
And
you're
so
going to
we're
be on.
we're
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
What else would you like to share with us before we get out of here?
Well, this is one thing that struck me that I would like to read. It's an anonymous person that left this, but I think this is something really special to impart upon your listeners, your audience. And it says, maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming all the things that were never really you. So you can be who you were meant to be in the first place.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Because a lot of time we have all these boxes and preconceived ideas and things that people have put upon us. And
Yes,
so it's really hard to sometimes even know who you are or what you're supposed to be doing and finding your purpose. And so I find that to be a great statement because knowing thyself is really a true honor and really something that each individual should seek, you know, to know thyself for real and know what their purpose is and what they're passionate about.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's about the unbecoming, coming from up under the labels that people have put upon you. Some of that stuff you didn't even volunteer for, you know and
Yes.
you're at the point now where you don't have to continue to do that. You don't have to be there because the greatness that you have within you is still there. So I heard somebody said the sun don't give a damn who it blind when it shine. So don't dim the
Yes.
light for nobody. Okay, if the
That's right.
sun can continue to shine, so can you.
Hallelujah. That's a word there. And I want to ask for a few more of your good words before we leave. Drop us two gems that you would give for aspiring business owners and any business owners that are in place right now. What two gems would drop for them?
The first thing I want to say is mind your business. There used to be something I had at my internet radio station, and we had all business cards of everybody. But mind your business also means don't let the business work you. Don't become your own employer. You're supposed to work the business. And there are so many resources available now to help you do that. So you don't have to go it alone. The second thing is that if you've always had this inner entrepreneur spirit within you, go out there and do it because the world is waiting for your greatness. And it would be very selfish of you to keep it to yourself. So go and be that businesswoman, go and be that businessman. And as a matter of fact, children, go ahead and let your greatness be seen early on in life because you've got a lot to offer. You're fearless right now. And all your parents have to do is pour into you and hold on to that. My youngest son, Malik Johnson, he used to walk around with a piece of paper in his hand and he would ball that paper up and it had to feel right. It had to move right. And I noticed that. I had a student whose husband was an architect. I took my son to this man and just let them have a conversation on their own. He said, your son is very much into textile. I suggest that you nurture his spirit and let him become what he needs to become in that world. My son today was the first high school African American young male that Clayco Incorporated construction company put in their program when they only used to just put college graduates in it. And he excelled, raised over $300,000 for the company's program, and still is a speaker for them today because I saw that little balled up piece of paper in his hand and I didn't take it lightly. My other son, my oldest son, AJ Amon Johnson, love children, love the physical body, love to do stuff. Fitness coach. Just got hired on in Kansas City to become a fitness advisor. So I poured into them and what they did. Don't ignore your children. There is entrepreneurship probably in them. There's more than sports. That's what I'm saying. So pour into your kids, pay attention to those little quirky things that they do. And like I say, the entrepreneurship that you have in you, feed it, nurture it. It's too much resource out here now for you not to. Somebody's waiting on your greatness. Don't be selfish and keep it to yourself.
Ashay, you just said a word there. That's the real. That's the real shit. Thank you. Thank
You're
you for
so
that.
welcome. Thank you
That
so
was
much
good.
for having me. I really am having, I've had such a great time, and I definitely will promote you and this podcast because I think that more people need to be here and get out there and tell their story. Somebody's story
Yes.
has not been heard and it needs
Right.
to be heard.
Facts. Facts. That's the truth. So I really appreciate your support, Ray J. And
Thank
thank you
you.
for being a business spotlight on the News and Use podcast. Um, Random question before we go. It says something about you're an author. What book you wrote?
So I was in an anthology as one of 9 authors in a book called Pretty in His Presence. It was a project done by Minister Raleigh Thornton, who was one of my podcast mates along
Mm,
with Dallas. And so my chapter in the book is called Passed and Approved. And we contributed our own chapters. So people are going to hear more about me from that little bit that I shared in the book, plus a lot more.
how do we get the book?
The book is on Amazon, and I had a few copies. So if anyone wants an autographed copy, hit me up, like I said, on Facebook, Ray J. Johnson, or on Instagram at One Ray Johnson. DM me, and I will make sure that I can get that book to you.
All right, that's awesome, Ray J. Well, that's a great segue to me asking everybody to buy my books and art. So so make sure you for your holiday gifts, tap in and get your signed copies of Finding Joy in the Journey, Volume 2, Healthy Ways of Finding Joy During Difficult Times, a 90-day devotional. Also, we have Gold Nuggets, 2 business books, Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, Lessons That Change Your Life. And stay tuned for another Gold Nuggets book because writing, I'm writing. Book's about to drop. It's about to drop. Hey. So and then we have the Strategy and Struggle, the audiobook. You can get the single Save Struggle. The Struggle Continues as audiobook. Also, you can get Mommy and Daddy. Do You Still Love Me Anymore? A love letter to my children as audiobook in English or Spanish, paperback, ebook, Amazon, signed copies right here. Let's go. And I have paintings, as you can see. I'm trying to duck and dive, but I put my background up with my paintings up. That's my original acrylic paintings. I'm developing workshops and painting workshops. And so if you have a venue, if you're here in Dallas, Texas, and local to the Dallas Fort Worth area, come on and talk to me so we can get these healing painting workshops going. And get you some original acrylic abstract paintings by your girl, Friendship Gardner. So we are grateful again for you tapping into a News and Use podcast wherever you're listening to in the world. We do ask that you stop and leave us a review. The reviews really makes a difference for us. Somebody similar to yourself who this podcast may resonate with may find the podcast because you left a review. So leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcast. You can actually watch these videos on the free Spotify app and YouTube, and then listen to the episodes on all the other streaming podcasts. Follow, subscribe, like, share, comment. Y'all know what to do. Tap in. Peace. Oh, and follow us on Instagram at A News.
There's been some seasons, some reasons, some lessons, and some blessings. Learning a lot along the way. again. Got a lot that's on my mind that I've been wondering. How long it take when you lost to find yourself again? How many else you gotta take until you get a win? How many people really love you or they just pretend? Or is your ride or die right until the very end? All of my losses really lessons, and nobody can take from me what I already been blessed with. I ride my own way, and looking at nobody else, I do my own thing. They gon' have something to say. Don't worry about another, so stay in your own lane. So I'ma tell you what I already know, and if you listen up, you better listen close. Stay down and all 10 toes. Life is full of games, it's just the way it goes. Reality, I'm stuck with it. And those who had my back when I was down is who I won't forget. I ride my own way. Looking at nobody else, I do my own thing. They gon' have something to say. Don't worry about another, so stay in your own lane. So I'ma tell you what I already know. And if you listen up, you better listen close. Stay down and all 10 toes. Life is full of games, it's just the way it goes. It's really me versus me. Every time I look in the mirror, all I see is me. It's my world for real. And I'ma live it how I wanna live it.